Imagine waking up each morning to the glare of a million camera lenses, every move you make parsed into clickbait headlines, every whispered thought snatched, clipped and sold. This was Britney Spears' reality for nearly 15 years. In her memoir The Woman in Me, she finally slashes through the silence to reveal how the very men who were supposed to guide and protect her, her father, so-called handlers, and a sinister court system, conspired to steal her voice, her money, and her freedom. The revelations are shocking and raw: forced medication, hidden surveillance, and a legal structure that treated her like property rather than a person. From the first pages, Britney makes it clear this is no ordinary celebrity tell-all. She lays bare moments so graphic and heartbreaking they force you to question whether any good remains in our world. She describes how lazy, insidious, and manipulative figures in her life, family members, managers, and paparazzi, stripped away her autonomy, reducing her to a public puppet. Instead of a living, breathing artist, she was a blank canvas onto which a voracious media and a callous industry projected its worst stereotypes about young women: that they are either innocent virgins or dangerous sluts, talented or desirable, but never both. Britney's sanctuary was always found in the Louisiana woods, where she could sing as if in prayer, free from the chaos at home. Her father, Jamie, often drank himself into oblivion or disappeared entirely, leaving her mother, Lynn, to unleash passive-aggressive guilt that rightfully belongs to the parent, not the child. Early tragedies: a great-grandmother forced into an asylum on lithium, an aunt gone too soon, taught her that family can hurt you in ways the world never will. Even as a child, she felt a deep-seated guilt and shame, convinced any misfortune was somehow her fault. At 8 years old, she auditioned for the Mickey Mouse Club alongside Christina Aguilera but failed to make the final cut. Undeterred, she returned home, demo tape in hand, and soon caught the attention of Jive Records. In the studio, her raw devotion to singing became legendary. She deliberately stayed up all night to get her voice hoarse, chasing a sultry timbre that would become the signature sound of Baby One More Time. When executives pitched elaborate, futuristic video concepts, she boldly insisted on a high school hallway setting, an image of an everyday girl who just happens to break into a perfectly synchronized dance. That moment revealed her instinct for authenticity, even as she was thrust into overnight superstardom. As her debut album soared to the top of the charts, Britney encountered the first waves of media misogyny. Critics blasted her tight, glittery outfit at the 2000 VMAs as indecent, while MTV staged a stunt forcing her to watch footage of parents calling her a stain on society until she uttered a bland apology. Overnight, the anti-Britney campaign found its champions. Avril Lavigne posed as the anti-pop princess, alternative rockers sneered at her choreography, and talk show hosts questioned her authenticity. If she dared to show a hint of sex appeal, they labeled her dumb. If she proved her talent, they accused her of hiding behind lip-sync tracks. She could not win. Then came her first great love, Justin Timberlake. Their romance, sparked on the Mouse Club set, was billed as innocent teenage puppy love, but behind the scenes, he had cheated on her more than once. When she discovered she was pregnant as a teenager, he insisted on an at-home abortion. No hospital, no doctor, leaving her curled up on a bathroom floor in excruciating pain while he strummed a guitar beside her. Years later, she still recalls the agony and the fear, and the sense that she had paid a terrible price for trusting someone so completely. The breakup fallout was swift and devastating. Justin's smash single Cry Me a River cast her as the adulteress, complete with a look-alike haunting the video. As he ascended to pop culture Olympian status, she found herself catatonic, unable to leave her bed but forced to complete the grueling dream within a dream tour. Tabloids spun lurid rumors of drug binges. Her team spun a false narrative of domestic bliss. Even her own family publicly insisted she was fine, a lie that underscored just how deep her isolation ran. In a desperate bid for clarity, Britney and a friend fled on a desert road trip beneath a canopy of stars. In that vast stillness, she felt a profound, otherworldly beauty that stirred something deep within her. The conviction that she must speak her truth, however frightening that might be. Alone under the desert sky, she reconnected with her faith and her own intuition. The first spark of hope amid a career built on muzzling her will. Not long after, Madonna materialized in Britney's New York apartment, a vibrant storm of confidence and defiance. She taught Britney that insisting on self-care and asserting her needs were not petulant diva moves but essential acts of survival. When they rehearsed Me Against the Music, Madonna refused to proceed unless every condition was met. Watching her navigate that set, Britney glimpsed a version of herself that didn't apologize for wanting more. A lesson she would carry tentatively into the years ahead. Then came the infamous Diane Sawyer interview, conducted when Britney was barely holding herself together. With no questions disclosed in advance, she was baited to tears on live television, grilled about her breakup and personal life while the nation looked on. She likened the ordeal to a violation, an assault on her privacy and dignity that felt akin to being naked in front of the world. It left her shaken, humiliated, and further convinced that no one around her truly cared how she felt. Seeking refuge, she married backup dancer Kevin Federline, hoping motherhood would be her anchor. Instead, she slipped into perinatal and postnatal depression, describing what felt like a Benjamin Button regression, aging backward in mind, even as her body healed. Kevin's frequent absences, the unrelenting paparazzi camps outside her door, and her growing sense of isolation turned what should have been joyous milestones into months of despair. The one bright spot was incubating new creative energy, leading her into the studio to record Blackout. With Blackout, Britney rediscovered the freedom of creation. For the first time, no one second-guessed her vision. She recorded Gimme More in a battered bar, nailing vocal takes in 30-minute bursts to dodge the paparazzi waiting outside. That fierce, urgent album became her battle cry, an FU to years of meticulous public grooming. Yet within weeks of its release, her handlers used those same tracks as proof of her instability, in a court petition seeking a conservatorship. In February 2008, a judge granted a temporary conservatorship over Britney's person and estate. What was sold as a protective measure quickly became an iron cage. Jamie Spears, her father, acquired the power to dictate where she lived, what she ate, which medication she took, and even what clothes she wore. A court-appointed lawyer, whom she did not choose, collected 6 figures a year to oversee her confinement. Meanwhile, her allowance was capped at $2,000 a week, even as she grossed tens of millions on 2 Vegas residencies. Under that conservatorship, she performed in Las Vegas under 24/7 surveillance, her dressing rooms bugged, her outfits pre-approved, her personal life micromanaged. Whenever she asked for the smallest creative tweak, a new mix here, a different costume there, she was labeled non-compliant and sent back to rehab, a high-priced psychiatric cage where she was stripped of choice, forced onto lithium, and watched during shower and bathroom breaks. She compared it to a modern witch trial, an apparatus designed to erase her womanhood and reduce her to a childlike robot. Locked inside that nightmare, Britney found an unexpected lifeline: her fans. When a nurse smuggled in a photo of a free Britney t-shirt, she realized people beyond the gilded cage cared about her. Summoning the courage she thought she'd lost, she began posting on Instagram again, modeling her own clothes, sharing silly dance videos, declaring her right to be beautifully imperfect. Each selfie was an act of rebellion, a reminder that the woman in her still lived, laughed, and deserved autonomy. At last, in June 2021, Britney spoke directly to the court. With her voice trembling but resolute, she detailed the verbal abuse, forced confinement, and financial exploitation she had endured. She demanded an end to the conservatorship, denouncing both her father and the legal professionals who profited from her captivity. Less than 2 weeks later, the judge signed off on her release. After 13 years, Britney Spears stood free. The Woman in Me is more than a memoir. It is a manifesto for anyone who has ever been silenced, shamed, or sold short. It's the story of how a young girl with a song in her heart survived the machinery of fame and came back to claim her own voice. As you close its final pages, remember that true freedom lies in refusing to be anyone's puppet, and that the fiercest power often grows from the darkest captivity.